3941, that's right. The 3941th Juice Man apparently is on the internet. For the love of God. Anyway, this is episode 80 of the Gaming Roundtable. We are at episode 80, my subscribers. I'm still currently sitting at 12. I've got the rest of the year to try to get 20. If you like this video, please. And in today's episode on the Gaming Roundtable, pull up a chair if you're able. And I am drinking a cold one. Today's episode is brought to you by Beer in the Throat. That's some good shit right there. So anyway, I am playing Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet this past week. This has been kind of my go-to game. I just really enjoy the combat. I love all this different stuff about it, but I'm going to talk about the good, and I want to talk about the bad of this game, because even though I like the game, and it's really just probably the best Sword Art Online game they have ever put out, there is some things I want to talk about that a lot of people might be confused about. My last video actually talked about how the things that you don't know about, and there's some other things I want to kind of explain. And this is something I want to do really quick and going into my stuff here. So when I go to my friends list here, I've been partnering up with Asuna and Sinum, and basically that you get stuff like that. And it's kind of nice that they've been my companions the whole time. Asuna's been my companion the whole time. You get these little medals from people and whatnot. But here's the thing that you may or may not be aware of when it comes to this game. A lot of people I've been reading about and talking to people about. So a lot of people are confused about the classes and what the symbols mean. Right here on the side of these characters is actually the classes that they are, and those symbols, they never ever show you what those symbols are. They never tell you in the tutorial what they mean. Again, which is kind of strange considering the tutorial. The different things you do is like a 2-3 hour thing. You think that they would do that, but they don't. Here's the deal. So this is the symbol there, where it looks like a diamond into an arrow. That is the destroyer class. That is where it's all about being like the heavy damage character. If it looks like a shield, simple enough. The shield is the tank. If it's got the wrench looking kind of, I guess you can say hex nut, then that is the engineer. If it has the diamond like shape, that is assault. And then you get into Asuna, which is like her, when you see like the cross-like diamond, that is a healer. And of course, with the eye, that makes sense, it is the sniper. Those are your classes. Those are the basic things that you have. In order to turn into one of those classes, your character automatically defaults to destroyer. So does the character that you create, your AI companion. As you can see on my status, though, I'm actually at the diamond, that kind of shape that's open like Kirito, so I am an assault class. And where that kind of comes into play is because when you do attach skills, you got to have skills that are all assigned to the assault class. Once your skills are assigned, and you have a couple levels of that, that will change your class. And those classes have different kind of abilities, and depending on your stats here over to the side, gadgets and stuff. One of the things that's interesting is you do have your weapon proficiency here. One of the things I like about this particularly is the fact that weapon proficiency is really cool, because it's just like in Borderlands 1. And in Borderlands 1, which is out of the 3 Borderlands, and I do love the pre-sequel, I do love the second one, I still love the first one more than the other 3. The other 2, I just love the first one. And you had that. The more you used a weapon, the more proficient you got with it. I don't know why those were removed from those games, but you can tell there is a little bit of Borderlands in this particular title with my character here. And there you go. Tells you your weapons. I do have some CP, so I can gain some experience here if I want. Gain a couple here. And I've been slowly but surely leveling my character up and getting the stats where they need to be, to get them where they need to be. And it's kind of nice, because certain weapons and everything require certain stats to be at a certain number. So it's just how that works, like any roleplay game. And that's one of the things I'm putting that on the good side because I think it's great because the customization is there. You build your character how you really want them to build, and that's nice. As you can see here with my AI, I've literally been just leveling her up like one each and a basic everything the same, and I do like that. She's considered a tank. I do have her using an SMG and a rocket launcher. Now, in the game, you will notice that if you play in a destroyer class, most of the time in the videos and different things about the game, it shows the destroyer class using like the Gatling guns or the miniguns, if you want to call them, light machine guns, all the heaviest weapons. You don't have to do that. You don't have to use those weapons to be classified that. Your class is based on what skills you use and what they do. So if you go over here, this is another thing I like about this game, and you go to your skill sets or your skills, this is the stuff you can buy. If, let's say, I go to destroyer, this is stuff that happens. It says like graviton shot, fires a bullet that creates a traction field, fires an explosive round. Everything is designed around how you change your class and the proficiency you are with these weapons. And if you look at explosive shot versus like heat detonator specifically uses the Gatling gun. So if you want to use that, its 4 is designed specifically for the Gatling gun. Explosive shot's for destroyer because the explosive shot does a bunch of damage. It's got a recharge time of 15 seconds, but it's good for pistols, shotguns, sniper, and sword and handgun combination. So this is how it all kind of sets up. But a lot of those are set up for rockets and Gatling gun and that kind of thing, and that's where that kind of comes from. And that's why that's that there. For example, like if I wanted to create, if I want to turn my AI into a tank, I could give her these different stuff and give her, since she uses SMGs, give her acrobatic fire, give her taunting yell, and I can change her into a tank if I wish. And that's kind of where that's at. And I'm kind of thinking I might do that. And that's just some good things. Like I said, it's SOA, Fatal Bullet's customization and how you want to create your character and how you wish that character to be. I went Assault because I like that frontline Assault kind of character, and that's what makes that like really. I love playing an Assault class, no different than playing anything else. The game's loot system. A lot of people's been asking, how is SOA's Fatal Bullet's loot system? Is it like Destiny's loot system? Not at all. See, one of the problems with Destiny's loot system, which I said way back in Destiny 1, about 3 years ago in my early videos in Season 1, was the fact that Destiny's loot system, there's only X number of assault rifles. They have so many white, so many green, so many blue, so many purple, so many exotic, and that's it. And this Destiny 2 does the same thing. And the difference is, though, now, thanks to Cactus HD and other people who have shown this, that the assault rifles that have like 900 rounds in this, they're all the same. The only thing different is the extrinsic perks and the way they look, but they're all the same. It's really it's literally they literally went the short route, which is kind of crazy. And they were lazy. They didn't want to design bunches of different things. Where I feel like that in the first game, all the weapons had so many different differences between them. In Destiny 2, they don't. But still, in the first game, they did the same thing. There was an X number of green and blue and different rarities of sniper rifles and every type of weapon that was in there. Borderlands has a not a random number generated system of pre-generated loot that's already in the game, but a random loot generator where it re-rolls the weapons and looks and all that other stuff. This game has that. The loot is completely 100% randomized. It is, different each time. You'll get different colors, different combinations, different stats, different perks, and that's one of the things that really bring me back to this game. If I go to the weapons, for example, and I look at, let's say, this lightning. This is a common you know, it's a lightning plus it, but it's still a common handgun. And I look at the handgun, that's what it looks like. You know, it's kind of neat that you can see that. If I go to this handgun, I go to this handgun, it looks like a 1911. This long stroke looks like kind of a, you know, basic Desert Eagle. Then I got this particular SMG, and again, you can go in and color these. There's this SMG, which is kind of neat because it looks basically like an Uzi, where the Sturm KZ looks like a kind of like an MP5 in a way. You got the Sirius, which again, this looks more of a futuristic style SMG. Here's your Potassium, which is kind of a bullpup style SMG. The weapons in this game are great because even the stuff you get is loot. The Spiral Shadow, another SMG with a huge like a silence type on it, and again, then you get into the shotguns. Your shotguns, as you can see here, this looks like a standard like 12 gauge. There's your Peacock. This looks like a Destiny style kind of shotgun. It looks pretty badass with a bullpup style design. Here's your Valkyrie shotgun. Again, similar. It's got but it's different colors. The stock is the pump itself is a little different, although it does still have that same style. Then you get into ARs. You know, there's your AR there with a bayonet. Here's a robust. It's basically an AK. This is the Lupus. Look at that. It's really cool looking. Like I said, you run the gamut of both modern looking weapons and something that looks like something out of Destiny. Here's another one here. Look at this. This is a badass looking, like that AR is awesome looking, that weapon with its stock design. Now, it's nowhere near what I have for like as far as the damage can do, and there's no memory chips. Like I said, if I go into my character and I'll show you what I'm using, I've got I actually have a legendary robust plus, which I used materials to enhance it to make it better, so it's weapon rank 2. So if I go into and look at it, it's basically your basic standard kind of, you know, again, you know, AK looking gun, but it does 121 and it's got all those memory chips built in. It's got ammo acquired, so you get plus 10 more ammo when enemies drop ammo. Damage versus life forms, optical attack, which optical attack, by the way, they don't explain this either. What optical attack is when you zoom in. That's what that means. But they don't explain that. You got your normal physical attack and auto reload rate, which means that if you don't hit reload, like it'll auto reload for you. There's an explosive attack added to it. Damage versus humanoids and damage versus mechs. It's a great weapon. I've been using it for quite some time, and which is pretty cool. The armor I'm wearing is simply cosmetic. I like it because it's kind of Destiny-like in its armor. And again, you can tell that the creators of this game looked at the Division, looked at Destiny. Systems are completely randomly generated. Its looks, colors, perks, everything. Every time enemies drop a weapon, or you might have unappraised items. I think I do have some unappraised stuff, so let me go get it appraised. These are all the big, huge, good highlights of the game. It's the first, and I own every Sword Art Online game. That's not mobile, not like handheld, and but like as far as on PS4, for retail copies and digital copies, I own both Excel World versus Sword Art Online, Sword Art Online Lost Song, Sword Art Online Hollow Realization, Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment, and now I've got this. And out of all of them, and I've played them all very extensively, and I like different aspects of all of them. This by far is the best one they've ever made. Not just because you don't play as Kirito, but because of the customization, because you make your character, because you have so many ways to build your character and how you want that character to perform. So that's really cool. And again, I want to show you some of this unappraising stuff. So you talk to Igel, praise an item. Igel gives you, like, I've got some items here, but it's a ribbon. They're all barrette used by a special unit. Most of the time, if it's items that I don't feel like I need, I will sell them. Even unappraised, they're worth money. And it helps you from spending a whole lot of money. Even though I got 1,165,000 gold or credits, believe it or not, that's not a lot of money in the game. That sounds absurd In other games, that would be like a ridiculous amount of money. It's not, especially when you got weapons in here that cost 98,000, 300,000, and that's like common typical numbers. So that's what's so. But the money side is generous, and I like that. Another thing I like outside, and I've talked about this touch base too before, this is another good thing about the game is the combat. The combat is solid. It's so much fun to use your skills, use your grapple to get up high to take the high ground, or use your grapple to get away and then turn around and whip around and shoot an enemy, crit them or whatever. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's a wonderful thing that it does. Um, Another thing that I really like in the combat sense is the fact that switching weapons is easy. It's very natural when you're playing the game. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta have a little beer in the throat here. Because that's what this episode's brought to you by. And I'm telling you, this game is a lot of fun. And you can turn the assist off if you want, so you don't have aim assist. You can kind of play the game however you want. And I like that. I mean, I'm in the first area, so my weapons are very OP for this particular level. And then you can turn assist mode back on. Assist mode just aims for you in that box. You can turn it off at any time, and you can just shoot however you want, which is fine. It's not that big of a deal. That's my shotgun I'm using. But a lot of times I do keep assist mode on, just because it's easier for it to auto aim kind of for you. The assist is very nice to use. I use that tactical roll a lot. That tactical roll, yeah, I can roll, but if you use tactical roll skill, one of the things I like about it is the simple fact that you can actually you can actually reload while you roll. And it's got a pretty good, so if I reload, so it reloads the gun for me. I think that's fantastic. I love that aspect of the game. And the game looks a lot better. Another thing that I really like, but there are some things that I'm going to go into now about the bad things that I feel like this game does not do what it needs to do as far as a pseudo MMO kind of thing. First of all, I want to get into a couple things. And the first thing I want to tell you that I think is bad about the game, and even though I really like it, I'm critical of this because I play a lot of shooting games, third and first, and the gun sounds in this game are just terrible. They're so bad. And I'm going to turn up the volume here so maybe you all can hear on the sound effects what they sound like. And just let me shoot my gun here. Now, if you can hear it, listen. It don't sound terrible, but there's not much impact there. It sounds decent. It's got that AK kind of sound, but they don't put any bass or any kind of weight behind it. When you're shooting the gun, you don't feel any kind of feedback from it when you're hitting things. It doesn't have that same level of that awesome gunplay. It has really good gunplay, and it doesn't have the same kind of impact as Destiny's weapons do, or anything along that lines. I don't know what it is about why they decided to make the gun sounds not real bassy, not real boomy, not real like that impact that you like from a weapon. Even my shotgun. Now just listen real carefully. Okay, so it's like this. It don't sound bad. Everything sounds a lot better through the headphones. I will admit that. The headphones, especially if you got headphones with both ears, the guns do sound a lot better. But I feel like there's not enough oomph, especially through the speakers, through the TV speakers. It's not the same. And that's something else that I feel like that the gun sounds, they're not terrible. When you listen to them, they have the sound they need, but they're just lacking that impact, that sound that you want to hear, that boom boom, when you're using a shotgun, that visceral sound, or a machine gun with that sound in it. And I really wish it had that. I don't know why they don't have that, but they don't. It's a minor gripe. I've been able to look past it, get over it. It's no big deal, but it's still I wish it had a little bit more oomph in when it comes to that kind of stuff. It just doesn't. And these little peons ain't really a match for me. So, because I've got all these better weapons and stuff. And that's the thing that I wish they was done differently. Another thing that I dislike about the game is that every time that you go into an area like this and you're with your party, you got to hit on the actual touchpad. You got to hit the left side. It's always set to act freely no matter what. I always end up going to prioritize healing, like use recovery skill and gadgets. They still attack stuff and fight stuff, but when you start to need healing, they will heal you. And I totally recommend that if you buy this game on your party, as soon as you can get a party, put a sniper in your group and put a healer in your group, because that long range is very helpful from distance, and having the healer like Asuna or somebody is incredibly, like, so much better, because they have saved my ass on so many occasions against some of the tougher fights and bosses that are in this game. That's my recommendation party wise. Just have a healer, have a marksman, and you're good, you know. It's one of my skills, that sliding shot, which does not take away from your base ammo, you know, which is nice. You know. With him, said I'm on the first area. My character's like, you know, not the most powerful, but he can handle like a lot now, do a lot of damage because of the weapons I'm using. And that's one of the things I think sucks, that every time you get into an area that you legitimately have to like sit here and like change that. That's kind of what you have to do. And that kind of sucks, because I wish you didn't have to always change it. It's a quick change, it's easy, just whatever, but it's every time. Like it won't just save that setting. And again, this is really a real minor, very minor gripe. It's so minor, it's not even really that big of a deal. It's just that sometimes I forget to go in and do that, and then my characters are not healing as much, and I'm like, man, I really need to heal. What is going on? You know, and that's that, and that's what happens there. And again, it's not that big of a deal. It's not a huge deal. It's not so bad that I feel like that I can't look past it either. So again, a lot of the bad that I point out in this game is very like minor gripes, except for a couple things. And again, the fact that the tutorial that you go through, which is lengthy, you know, it's in the very early games, the first hour or so is really not, you know. I'm fighting these pseudo like PvE players, but they knocked him out. There's a level 10 lead, but I don't have any problem with him. I used to have a problem with playing against him. I don't now. He's easy to defeat. I just got an unappraised assault rifle, and it is green. It's bright green, which means that is a legendary. I mean, that is a legendary assault rifle. That's like the better, like typical color schemes. You know, like most color schemes is white, green, blue, you know, purple, orange, whatever. This game doesn't do that. It's like similar, but not similar. Like common is like that grayish kind of color. You know, uncommon's like red. Like they just changed a lot of the color schemes around. It's no big deal, and it really isn't. But that's kind of like they just try to be different from everybody else. And those are two of the kind of gripes I have. And the other gripe I have, which I'll have to go back and show you this one. So if I go back to town, and I go back to, let's say, my home, and we'll go home now. One of the problems I feel with this game is the fact that I don't know if it's dimps. The other games' load times are very negligible, but this game seems to be pushing better graphics engine and all the other stuff. But I really feel like that they didn't optimize the game for loading, and this game loads a whole lot. I mean a whole lot. Every time you move from your home to the SBC Glocken, it loads. You move from the SBC Glocken to Krito's room, it loads. You move to the PvP area, it loads. Loads, 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 loads. It continuously loads like a whole like a whole lot. Excuse me. And that's one of the things that I really feel is bad about these are really not all that great. I don't need them. Says it's uncommon, but I do have some unappraised items, which is great. When I go into that, I go to items, for example. Like I said, I've got. Oh, I know it dropped an unappraised assault rifle. I saw it. Here's some of this stuff I'm gonna end up selling anyway. Yeah, unappraised assault rifle. It's got a lot of memory chips. This is good. It's a legendary. It's weapon rank 1. It might be better than what I have, or I could upgrade it to make it better, which is nice. And again, this game is very generous with its basic, weapons, and I think that's nice. I'm gonna try to level up my character here a little bit more stats. She gained a level. Your party members, you don't have to worry about their stats, equipment. You don't. It's kind of set up to where you don't really have to worry about it, and that's kind of nice. So again, I want to show you this. So if I go here, for example, and I go to Krito's room, it's going to load. It just loads. Now the load times are maybe like 20 seconds or so, but it still sucks because you'd think they would be optimized mode, or where they should have made it seamless transition between here and there. Now I know all the Sword Art games, there are load times here and there. This game has way more than the other ones, like way more than the other ones. And since the other ones are not so resource heavy, as this one is using Unreal Engine 4, and the way that the game is designed, even though I wouldn't say it's like the most graphically, like holy shit, like graphics, but it's still better than anything they've done before, and that's kind of, to me, where I feel like that's one of the issues. So I'm going to praise this real quick, see what he finds. He's really happy about it. It's a legendary. It's got a lot of chips, though. Lab forms, damage when off guard, that's kind of nice. Bullet circle accuracy's pretty high. So it's an SBA rapier. So if I go into my character here, again, the loading times in this is, to me, is ridiculous. It just is. So let me see what we got here. Okay, so that's a pretty cool. See, it looks different. It's kind of whitish, silver, blue color going on. It's got some good memory chips. It takes high-speed bullets, where mine takes assault rifle bullets. High-speed bullets shoot much faster. The rate of fire is 596 per minute. That's 447 per minute. And you look at the effective range, it's got better effective range. Now this actually weighs less, which is nice, and it has 10 more ammo capacity. It doesn't do as much damage, but I might be able to go ahead and upgrade it with her to weapon rank 2, and I can switch weapons. Let me enhance the weapon, and let's see here, go to rapier. You have different things you can do. Now I cannot do it just yet, but these enhancement formulas, there's 3 different formulas. One's a basic, one is like 2, and 1. And 1, if you do Formula 1, it'll give you the best enhancement. You just got to find the items. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I really dig that new assault rifle. I think it's better. It's definitely better than what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and use it, even though I'm going to lose a little bit of physical power. It's just that's so much better of a weapon. So now that I got that, I go into here. I can literally like sell it back to him, my old weapon, which is what I'm going to do. That robust plus. And then I sold it. And then I'm going to sell these too, because you can sell to him just like you can sell to the vendors. And that's another good thing about the game, for example. This is stuff that I'm not going to use. And I'm just not going with that either. And it's rare, and epic items are like yellow. And I know I never sell materials. I literally keep everything. Like, it's just pointless, because you basically have near unlimited inventory space. So now that I've got the newer weapon, see, again, this is what I'm talking about. If I want to go home, loading screen. It'll save and then load, and it loads and loads, and every time you go anywhere in this game, it just fucking loads. It loads and loads. So I'm gonna talk to her because it's probably a cutscene or something, which it is. I was gonna color my weapon, but here's some of the story.
ここは総督府ロビーです。ご用件をどうぞ。ご安心ください。さあ、マスター、ご用件を。私に指示をください。申し訳ございません。理由、それは他には何かございますか？申し訳ございません。現在、私が遮断しているんじゃないかですか？申し訳ございません。あ、自分で端末を他にご用件はございますか？申し訳ございません。はい。慣れないことをするとくたびれるのです。受付をしているアファシクラインがタイプ B との関係を理想。マスター、さっきの私たち理想の関係だったでしょうか？そうなタイプ B みたいな話し方もちゃんとしたし、何がいけなく。そうか、私はアファシスタイプ X だから、そうと分かれば簡単なのです。では早速データを。次こそ理想の関係ですよ。
The story is not all that great to begin with, and then of course you run into again. It's going to load into this again. I'm just trying to get in to change my weapon color, but I don't want to skip the story here.
何をしているのですか？デイジー、ツリスカも。こんにちは、レイちゃん。
マスターをご主人様と呼ぶなんてどうしちゃったの？あなたのマス。
そうです、違うのです。
あらあら、
どんなものにだってメンテナンスは必要なのです。世の中にはきちんと関わりを築いて、私はいつか。
I like the story, ladies and gentlemen, like any of the other, like my subscribers, my gaming roundtable people. I like the story, but it is very dialogue heavy, like the other SOA games.
理想の関係だぜ。
ですが、
そうね。私も。
でも、お疲れの時には休むことを優先してください。私は数日私のことを気にしすぎてマスターが疲れるなどそれに私の服はもう
あら、新しい衣装は嫌いだったかしら？
いいえ、とても変わっ。
そうなんだ。
よくわからないのです。
ねえ、レイちゃん。レイちゃんは理想の関係に。でもマスターを変える手もあるんじゃない？もしかしたら手っ取り早い他のマスターや、例えば。
よくわからないのです。だからマスターに理想と思ってほしいのです。でも
レイ、
そうなの。
大丈夫、きっともうすぐ答え。それじゃ
お二人ともさようなら。言っちゃいました、マスター。私わからなくなってきました。
Okay, saving and back to the thing, but you can tell she wants to talk again, which means I still won't be able to color my new weapon. This is just ridiculous. Sometimes this stuff drags on, and I'm used to it by now with the Sword Art games, but this is it's just continuously. Sometimes the story has a lot of elements in the game, and I'm going to say this is both a bad and a good. Sometimes the story, it's kind of cool to listen to and talk to, but they put so much filler stuff that has nothing to do with the story, nothing to do with anybody. It's just your AI companion worried about your relationship. It's just ridiculous.
はい、実はこの間からずっと気持ちがもや。この前セリスあの時最後に言っても私には私は早く
おお、ニュースで見た顔がいると思えば、お前ってことはそっちにいるのはなんなの
ですか？あなた
引っ込んでな。 いくらレアだろうが AI なんぞ匂わいや、それよりチートマスター様って呼んだ方がいいか。聞いたぜ、お前ログイン初日、そしてだ、ワープゲートでうっかり飛んだ先が、お前は迷わずマスター登録、上位ランカーの話、しかもその時上位ランカーから撃たれたのに、なぜか狙撃は外れ、あんたは無傷。ってふざけんな、できすぎだろうが。何がリアルラックだよ。
ひどい言いがかりなのです。マスターはチートなんかしない。
俺はお前のマスターと喋ってるんだよ。大体なんだお前、他のアファシスじゃ聞いたことないぜ。バグでああ、
違います。マスターはチートなんてしてないし、勝手にマスターのことを悪者って決めつけて、あなたなんか何も分かってないのです。
なんでお前こそ
わかります。マスターはすごいの、ズルはしないし優しいし、それにとても努力家なのです。それに私にお小遣いだってくれるのです。悪いことなんて絶対し。
おい、アファシスってプレイヤーにバカとかなんだよ AI が接しやがって。
悪いのです。
いや、そりゃでもよ、そのなんだ、悪かった。
マスター、それで気がついたらセリスカの言ってたこと、マスターはずっとクラインとタイプ B やセリスカとデイジーの、私とマスターは遠回りしちゃってごめんなさいマスター。でももう大丈夫。そうだ、せっかくいろいろ試したんだから、マスターが言ってくれれば。
It's just, again, filler. This is parts of the story that's just nothing but filler.
それともご要望には。マスター、ずっと一緒なんだから。
Even your character walks away like he's done. Okay, that was all filler and basically pointless. That's some of the bad about this game. You know, I mean, she wants you to change out and all this too. I'm just trying to go in and change the color of my gun. And again, I think I showed this out before. This is my new weapon. It's awesome looking. I love the way it looks. And unfortunately, it's not like Destiny. So you only get to pick one color. So if I want a blue gun or a black gun, it's whatever. Or if I want even a hot kind of pink purplish gun, or even a light green one, I can do that. Or go into this color, or even I want just a gold one. You know, I can do that, and that's kind of neat to be able to do that. This one does kind of the same thing. I can make it purple, I can make it white. Let's just make it a white shotgun, or go back and if I want to make it kind of gold color or silver color, or I'll do a purple shotgun or a deep blue shotgun. That's fine. So I got that going on, and that's what that's about. So I exit off there, and I'm gonna keep using that one. And this, again, I love being able to switch to weapons, but that's some of the bad when you play this game. I'm just telling you, there's many points in the game when you're playing and the story stuff is playing out. That's not part of the story. That is all filler. It's all things that's been put in here, obviously, to extend the length of the game. And I really don't like that. I think it's a ridiculous thing. I just don't. I think it's silly. Because that's what you got to deal with. But overall, SOA Fatal Bullet has much more good than bad. It's just remember, you're going to see a lot of loading screens like this. They don't take a whole lot of time at all. They don't. Some of them are 20 seconds. Some of them are a little shorter. Some of them are like 3 to 5 seconds. It just depends. And that's kind of how you're just going to have to get used to seeing that. And that's one of the things that kind of, it would have been nice if they made it more seamless, more almost hub-based, in a way where you could just go from boom, boom, loads once, and you're done. And once you get into an area, it loads once and you're good. But everything's sort of like, go here to a dungeon, you gotta load into the dungeon. So you will see that loading screen quite a bit. And that's really the truth of the matter. and that's one of the things that I kind of put in the bad. I put in the bad things are like the filler parts of the story, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, or they're just there to pad the length of the game. I think the bad is I wish the weapons had more oomph, louder sounds, even at max volume sound effects. They just don't. They just lack that oomph that I want in a weapon where you can hear those weapons, you know. Even in Division being, you know, a few years old, it still has really, really good, you know, like really good weapon sound effects. And and that's one of the things that I liked about the game. These guys here. That's why you have Sign in your group. She's a sniper. Took him out, no problem. That's one of the things I like. She also just shot a healing bullet at me because she also has healing bullets. Multifaceted rolls. Now I'm not doing as much damage as I did with my other weapon, but I'm going to get the parts to rank this up because it will become a better weapon when I do that, and that's going to be real nice. Got it. Time to grow. And I love it. Like I said, the models and everything look great in the game. The gameplay, generally speaking, movable clouds, looks really good. And I will say it is definitely a step up from the other Sword Art Online games, even though they were never bad looking. They weren't like the best games that there are, like as far as looks are concerned, you know. It's my explosive shot to do the damage I need to do. And those things suck to fight, by the way. I get so tired of fighting those things because those boss are hard to like deal with. Yeah, I do hold. It's nice to hold 10 more bullets too than my previous weapon, although I may not do as much damage. Oh, I forgot. Those stay on too. When you set a waypoint on the map, they stay there until you remove them, and that's basically what's going on there. And these are like your places to you know, I can go to where they want you to go, that kind of situation, and that's where that's kind of coming from. Some scorpion. I gotta fight. Get him with that. My shoulder tackle. Got him. Those high speed bullets are nice. You get a lot of damage to them pretty quickly. But and this is basically what basically I wanted to go over with Sword Art Fatal Bullet Online here on the Juice Man's 3941's Gaming Roundtable. I wanted to show you some more stuff about this. I wanted to show you what was good about the game, what I felt was good about the game, what was bad about the game. The good far outweighs the bad, and I think if you buy this game, you'll really enjoy it because it does have a robust loot system. It does have a lot of good things about it that I just totally enjoy. So I know this has been quite a long video, way more than I ever wanted it to be, so I know that you'd have to bear with me on that. And anyway, I just want to tell you, thank y'all for tuning in. This has been episode 80. I'm at 80 episodes, 20 away from 100. Please subscribe to my channel. Please hit that like button. And thank you, subscribers, for making this channel possible. And as always, gamers, I'll see you on the next Gaming Roundtable. Good gaming.